Farzin, you can start now.
Hi guys, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Okay, so good evening guys. So to start with, I'm Farzin. So I passed out from IIT Madras in 2019. I joined in IITM in 2014 as a dual degree student in chemical engineering, and now I'm currently working as a data scientist in data analytics, basically in computer vision. It might sound a little strange to all of you being a chemical engineer working as a data analyst or a data scientist. I will just come to that shortly. So before we even begin, let me appreciate the efforts of the Tensors team to actually bring up this kind of platform for the younger students to choose their careers in a much more mature and channelized way. And I was also part of Tensors in my second year in IITM, and I think we were not this big enough to conduct a program like this. We just conducted a Tensors exam. I don't know how many of them will be aware of it. Okay, so a big round of applause for the Tensors team to actually invite me and to conduct this kind of program. Okay, to begin with, so I don't know. I think you guys, many of you are in the process of actually filling out the options for I think NIT and IIT. I think it's being done together. I guess I'm not sure though. Uh, Commenting on chemical engineering, so let me tell you my story. So whenever I joined IIT Madras, like I also had a big confusion in choosing my department. The way I approached it, I looked into last rank details, how it was, and depending upon the preference of the other people, I actually gave. So I didn't have this much of idea, or basically it was by default I took chemical engineering, and I don't regret that decision basically. So basically, the order in which people gave it was like it was computer science first, it was electrical, then it came to mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, civil, and there were a lot of mix-up per se, but majority of them it was the trend. So this is why how I joined. I mean, I took chemical engineering, and as a newbie to the chemical engineering, was not aware of how was the curriculum or what are the syllabus that we're gonna deal with in the 4 or 5 years of the syllabus. And one thing to uh, benchmark, or one thing I'm 100% sure about, it's not chemistry that you guys will be doing. It's more than chemistry, or like it's more than physics. It's 70 to 80% pure mathematics. Majority of the time you will be dealing with differential equation and numerical methods, and you will be doing a lot of coding. So let me tell you my story. So I didn't have that much coding background whenever I started off in IIT Madras. I thought that chemical engineering would not have it, or I don't have to do that. But later on, what I realized was that was a strong skills that I had developed over the time in my college. And so let me tell you this. So there are different verticals in chemical engineering. So in terms of its name, chemical engineering, you'll be dealing in chemicals, right? So that's what I thought at the first time when I joined. So what I thought was at the end of the fourth or fifth year, I will be mixing up acid or alkali to get some other product to sell for any company. So that's not a case actually. So the only place that you guys will be studying chemistry, or like the plus 1 plus 2 I mean syllabus that you are part of, you are being studied or you're part of, and the only thing that you'll be studying is Pascal's law or Boyle's law, and some molarity or basic principles of basic concept. That's the only place where we will be touching a part of chemistry. Other than that, it will be much more physics and it will be much more mathematics. The reason being, there are three different verticals for chemical engineering. One is purely on this catalysis or mass transfer, or basically relating into much more plant side or chemical engineering side. The other half is like computational fluid dynamics, basically deals with a lot of fluid motion. I think guys would be aware of, since you guys have, I think already have cleared GAE, you guys would have aware of the fluid dynamics or fluid motions that you would have studied in your plus 2. And so the part of computational fluid dynamics comes with a lot of mathematics and a lot of physics, basically fluid dynamics, with respect to chemical engineering. So the reason why chemical engineering comes there is like, say if you're producing some sulfuric acid, so it's easy to write an equation, but when you productionize that kind of stuff, there are a lot of complexities involved in it. So basically what we deal is we computationally manipulate and manifest like how far will be the production, or how far will be the reactivity, something like that. So it will be mature mathematics and mature physics that, rather than a chemistry involved in it. So only chemistry that comes into that kind of picture is like a plus b gives c. So that's the only place chemistry comes to in the picture. Other than that, it's purely mathematics or purely physics. So coming to third vertical, I don't know how many of you are aware of the word data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence or data analytics, whichever name you call. So that's the third region or a third vertical which IIT Madras is actually famous for. The reason being, there are a lot of good professors who had a lot of experience in computational mathematics, basically this data science. I think like that's the most sought job in the market, at least for the past 2 3 years. So there are three verticals. One is this catalysis or proper chemical engineering, or like chemistry, like much more into chemistry or physics side of it. And there is a computational side for a computational CFD side and mass transfer or fluid dynamics. And there is third part, data science, machine learning or artificial intelligence, which is actually part of your course curriculum. So when I say that actually part of course curriculum, you guys would be wondering why did they put it actually under chemical engineering? That's a good question. And the reason being, so on the later parts of my college life, what I realized was everything becomes completely mathematical, and there are a part of department which actually deals into a lot of mathematics. That's the reason why it was part of chemical engineering. So that's the reason why how I ended up being a data scientist at Tiger Analytics, because towards my third year or fourth year, I think there was a big boom in the market for this machine learning or artificial intelligence, which is much more into computer science, I would say. But a lot of data science stuff or mathematical stuff had been taught in chemical engineering as part of that. So that's the reason why a lot of people get placed in a lot of data science or machine learning or artificial companies from chemical engineering, because we have a lot of department electives or electives part of this. So this is all about the core or the mass structure of the chemical engineering. And coming to the placements, yes, there are a lot of companies who hire you for your skills. So one sort of people would come to IIT Madras chemical engineering from a core side would be FMCGs. So I don't know, like, how do you guys know the meaning of FMCG? It's like fast moving consumer goods. So those are the companies which sell Pepsi or Coca-Cola, or like fast moving products, like the things that you use on a daily basis. So those companies would be HUL, P&G, Procter and Gamble. If you know the shaving, I mean, I think you do know, you would have actually heard of Gillette. So those kind of companies would come as a part of core chemical engineering. For that, you might need a little bit of technical background, because you will be handling plants basically, which produces this kind of steps, and you will be also should have a little bit of management skills to that. And other set of companies would be the core companies which actually deals with the fluid dynamics or fluid mechanics, and other will be the data science or artificial intelligence companies. And so the question is like, how did I learn? I mean, is coding part of the curriculum? Yes, it is. So I was very much adamant to learn coding in my when I started off the college, because I was sitting with computer science people. I was put in the first year will be put into some different streams of people as a part of the mandatory courses that you need to take, and very much averse to that. I was very much adamant to learn that, but some way I passed out that course. But later on in the second year, third year, as a part of industrial, I mean, as a part of demand from industry, the academia introduced the MATLAB coding program for us, for chemical engineers, basically learn coding. Because when so basically you guys would be hired for the companies where you want to start a model to actually productionize chemicals. So that needs a lot of computational skills to predict a lot of things. So I started learning that as a part of curriculum. It's actually a part of chemical engineering. It's a MATLAB program as a course. Then later on, whenever I took other courses which deals into computational fluid, so I should say that like most of my courses, whichever I took in sorry, in chemical engineering, was related to CFD and this data science. I also took some core courses. Other than that, I had a lot of freedom to choose because we already had department electives which deals with this kind of mathematical course. So whenever I took courses, this assignments and the projects which come under was part of it. So basically, you will basically catch up with a lot of coding stuff in the way to your fourth year or fifth year. And I did my fifth year dual degree project under chemical engineering prof called Dr. S. Pushpavanam. And his area of interest was also this fluid dynamics, which also deals with a lot of mathematical stuff. So, and I did a lot of courses under machine learning and artificial intelligence under the chemical engineering, and one or two courses outside of it. So that's how I created my profile by the end or fourth or fifth year. And that's how good it was. And that's how that was the taste for from an IIT Madras perspective. This is how IIT Madras chemical engineering deals with things. It'll be slightly different across all the other colleges, I should say. But learning MATLAB, which is okay, I should say MATLAB is a learning platform, just like C or C++, used for chemical engineers or mechanical engineers or any kind of engineers to develop modeling part. It's like Python or something that you guys would, so all these things that I utter, you will face in your third or fourth year of a curriculum. But I should say that as a beginner, as a someone who is yet to choose a branch, chemical engineering at IIT Madras is not chemistry. It's much of 70 to 80% mathematics, and you learn coding. You have the freedom of learn coding. It's not mandatory that you should learn coding. I mean, someone who is not at all aware or very averse to this kind of things need not learn. We can always choose the other side. But I should say that it's good to learn that, because you will have a lot of freedom and you will have a lot of skills to showcase whenever you use it for placements. So this all these things are from whatever I say is from a placement perspective. When it comes to higher studies, basically a large chunk of people goes from ITM or like any NADs to higher studies. And for higher studies, you need to maintain good CGPA, at least above 9, to get into good universities. But the fame of IITM or like IIT tag will come into a lot of importance when you apply for higher studies. For any higher studies, or when even who is willing to go for higher studies, should actually maintain a good CGPA. And other than that, in the second or third year, you will be asked to do an internship. So in IIT Madras, I think I did under Saint Copen Research India. And before that, I also had a stint at Orchid Pharmaceuticals. Those were the core interns. So during the Orchid, that was the time I learned about a lot of computational things. So so in a nutshell, I should say that chemical engineering is not chemistry. It has a lot of opportunities per se. From IITM, if you study in IITM, like you will be exposed to a lot of challenges, challenging problems. And basically in IIT Madras, you'll have a lot of technical stuffs or like technical tech first, so that you'll be exposed to a lot of other things from other people also. I mean, it's a very good platform to interact and learn from a lot of other people. So this is in nutshell what's chemical engineering. I mean, if you don't have that much, I mean, if you don't, even if you don't have that much a coding skill or did not have learned coding at all at your plus two stage, it's not even a problem, because I was the one who didn't know at all coding and very averse or adamant to learn coding, because I didn't like it at the first place. But later on in my career or in my college, that was some handy tool I developed over the period of time. This is it. And from a plus, you need not be good at chemistry to actually start off with chemical engineering. If you're good at physics or mathematics, that's much more enough. I'm pretty much sure that like whoever been gone through the process of JEE would have found actually chemistry is a little bit not difficult to learn, but little bit you guys will be little hesitant to learn chemistry because it's this lot of mugging. But not that's not the case in chemical engineering. When it comes to an engineering perspective, like everything is under max. Basically, you need numbers to say tell anything. How should I say that? Okay, so say that you are part of a chemical engineering company. Say that you are a part of HUL. Basically, you will be productionizing something. You will be producing some. Say you are producing Pepsi. Say you need to have a target of 6,000 liters or per day or 7,000 liters per day. So how do you achieve it? What kind of pressure you should put? What kind of temperature you should put? So all these kind of things will come into purely in terms of numbers when you arrive at a particular decision. So basically use your technical knowledge, basically use numbers to arrive at a business decision or a engineering decision. So it's not chemistry at all that we actually deal in chemical engineering. It's much of mathematics. If you're good at mathematics and physics, I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is you need not you need not have any that kind of specific skills or specific skill set in chemistry or any other things. If you love, I think like most of you are good at if you are clear JE, you'll be good at physics or mathematics. That and of course you'll have also made good marks in chemistry. I think that would be enough for that. I mean, you not basically need not need a head start for learning chemical engineering. It's a versatile and it's a very peaceful branch, I should say. I mean, the courses in chemical engineering are very peaceful. I don't think there is any course that you need to I mean fret a lot or you need to spend a lot of time. Much things are very intuitive, I should say. I mean, things are very intuitive. I mean, if you have a little bit of logic, things would be very easy for you. And what I would recommend is, if you don't have that much preference to any other branch or per se, computer science or electrical, like it's easy to take chemical engineering, and you would not regret that decision because you'll always have a leave of choosing things in chemical engineering. Because now what I am doing in my company called Tiger Analytics, what I'm doing is I'm actually working on a computer vision programs. I didn't know all these stuff before when I joined, but I had the mathematical background to do that when I was out of IIT Madras. The thing is that so whatever companies look for is not you did a lot of courses under chemical. It's about how you approach the problems. How do you have a mathematical perspective to approach the problems to solve engineering problems so that their clients can achieve business. That's how they look forward into that. And I think the college has given enough for me to do that. I think that's all from my side. Okay, I'm open to the questions now.
Thank you for first. You have touched every aspects of a chemical engineering course. If you have any other doubts, you can kindly type it on your chat box, please. We don't answer comparison questions because we will have a separate counseling sessions for that types of questions.
Okay, so basically, I'll be selecting certain questions from chat, and we'll be going over some popular FAQ questions that might be helpful for everyone commonly. So, for the first thing would be uh,
Yeah.
who a student who decides to pursue a core career in chemical engineering. What kind of a career do you think he will be going into after 4 years in chem?
uh, Okay, so the core chemical engineering. So as a part of core chemical engineering, if you're a core chemical engineer, there are two types of companies. I should say, like if you go into core chemical engineering, I said that whenever you deal with chemicals, so those one kind of companies would be. Sorry if there is a little bit of disturbance. I mean, this is the only place I could actually sit where I haven't good net connection. Sorry for that. I mean, two guys of companies. So have you guys have heard of oil companies like Schlumberger, Shell? Those kind of companies are the one kind of companies that would hire you for your skills. So basically, there are a lot of distillation or a lot of production that is going on this kind of oil companies, and you will learn a lot of things: how to productionize, how to calculate things, and how to take engineering decision to that. Another set of companies would be again like things companies like FMCG. That's what I said, like Pepsi, HUL, PNG, those kind of companies. With another set of companies that would require you to have a good technical background and also with a little bit of more managerial skills. And there are companies like Exxon also, which actually deals a lot of fluid mechanics, which actually ask your computational fluid dynamics skills or fluid your knowledge in fluid dynamics to the picture. And there will be also a lot of pharmaceutical companies over there which hire you for your core technical knowledge. Yeah, does it answer my question? Like over asked,
Yeah,
right?
that answers your question. Another
Yeah,
question would be you talked
yeah,
about how some
yeah.
people go into coding while they are in chemical engineering because the branch is somewhat relatively easier. So how about some other branch?
So, is the question like this? Like, is it easy to learn coding by taking chemical engineering, or is it easy to learn coding by taking other branches? Is it so? I mean, is that a question to be
Question.
exact?
Yeah, the question was that in your webinar you told how it is easy to pursue another branch, another direction like coding because chemical engineering is overall a P subject. But what if I am in another branch and what if I want to pursue coding? Do you think that will be a hindrance?
I mean, so okay. So it's all depends on like which course do you actually choose. I mean, see, there are two kind of things I should say. One is you learn stuff which is being taught from your department, and you learn stuff by your own. That's another thing. And one other thing is like you learn stuff with your department, which involves a lot of things that you should like to learn. So what I meant was, if it is basically coding, came for chemical engineering, coding was part of the curriculum, and you had an option of choosing courses which deal with a lot of mathematics. Coding is not something to do with always software. Like it's a platform used for solving mathematical or problems or engineering problems. Not like always software. There are a lot of other things which coding does. So coding is a piece of skill. It's not always software. So that's what I should say. And other departments, yeah, mechanical engineering it involves a lot of coding. So what I'm saying is like data science, chemical engineering is much more closer to data science or machine learning in terms of mathematics. But in mechanical engineering, yes, you will have it. You will have a freedom of choosing it. Yes, you would have it. But you can always learn it separate if you end up in different department. That's what like in chemical engineering it is part of a little part of curriculum. Mechanical engineering also it is a part of curriculum. Other department might be slightly off, but you can always learn it parallelly. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Then other question was asked that you already mentioned that you should have more courses on physics, chemistry related on chemical engineering. The one question is, is it necessary to be very much good at physics, chemistry, and math to pursue chemical engineering?
I mean, the physics. I mean, what I meant. Sorry. I mean, I think I'm a little bit confused. I mean, whoever asked this question. Thing is that physics. What I meant is like it's not like. I mean, I don't exactly remember. So say it is like wave motion or like. I mean, you guys would have I mean, read or learned this waves, right? So in waves you have like I think second order differential equations, right? Similar to that, you'll have that kind of equation with respect to concentrations in chemical engineering. So what I meant is like it's you not need not be good at that. I mean, you need not be very I mean proficient at it, but it involves physics. I mean the physical perspective and mathematical perspective, I should say. But it involves a little bit of mathematics, and of course you will learn all those stuffs before you actually do these things, and they will always ensure that you are on the same page whenever they take the course. So in a nutshell, you don't need to be that good. I should say you guys all, if you had clear JE, you guys would be actually good at it. So you need not worry about it. It's all intuitive and it's all depends on like how much interest that you put into that particular subject to learn.
Also, thank you, Farzin. I think you have covered all the aspects of chemical engineering course. Thanks for everyone attending this session, and special thanks to Farzin, our guest. You know that I should like to share you our new about some details about our new program, which is a one-to-one counseling session for every students who have cleared JE and eligible for a JOSA counseling session. You should for joining this program, please register at our website. The link is shared in chat box.